Before I begin today's video, there's quite a few quote unquote irregularities happening right now with the voting process. So if you want to double check your voting registration, see where you can early vote and also pledge to vote, then maybe volunteer for the Trump campaign, you can do so through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Diddy starting his own political party called Our Black Party. And it is, as the name would suggest, it's a political party specifically for black people, you know, African-American descendants of slaves, ADOS, for that particular segment of the population. Now, this is pretty interesting. We're going to get into the website in a little bit to see exactly what they're talking about, all their core values, some of the guys and girls they have on the board. We'll talk about all of that in a minute. But I hear this a lot. People say, man, I don't like either side. I don't like Democrats or Republicans. We got to start our own party for black people. And then I always ask the question, what's the point of starting your own quote unquote black party when you're going to have the same operatives from the Democratic Party and you're going to espouse the very same things from the Democratic Party? Okay. And what Diddy, as I call him Puff, what Puff did is exactly what I've been talking about. His first order of business is to trash Trump, say that if Trump wins, there's going to be a race war, and to endorse Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm like, really? So you're going to talk all this stuff about how both sides are bad, nobody has our interests, we got to have our own party, and you're going to endorse the Democrats? I mean, and then you say, okay, once Joe Biden gets in there, we're going to hold him accountable. Okay, you're talking about a guy that's been in office since 1973. Okay, 1973. That's way before I was even born. I was born in the 80s. You're talking about 10 years before I was even here, before I was even a thought. My parents were still kids, basically. 1973, this guy is halfway dead. And the crazy part is that during a half hour or so talk he had with Charlamagne the God, and full disclosure, Diddy owns Revolt. Charlamagne the God works for Revolt. So Charlamagne is Diddy's employee. So let's just have that be known. Anyway, in a half hour conversation, Puff, Diddy, whatever his name is, would kind of go back and forth talking about how the Democratic Party don't do anything. They've never done anything, but we got to go ahead and put him in there and hold him accountable. It's like, what? I mean, that's not worked in the past 50 or 60 years. Why are you going to try it again? And then to talk bad about Trump. I like how Charlamagne did point out the fact that, well, he asked the question, did you guys have a relationship? Were you cool with each other? And Puff was like, yeah, we respected him. He was a shrewd businessman. And God's using them now to expose racism. It's like, what racism are you talking about, sir? What are you even saying? You respected him as a businessman recently because there's pictures of Puff and the president, Donald Trump, with Melania hanging out, smiling, and everything's all good. So you're talking about pictures that aren't really a long time ago. We ain't talking about the 80s or not. You're talking about like maybe 2010, 2012. Y'all were hanging out, laughing, and everything's all right. But now all of a sudden you got to get him out of office. That's the primary objective. The whole thing is just kind of weird. It feels like kind of a psyop or some kind of just infiltration of Black Lives Matter or just a Democratic Party in general, trying to use Puff as a conduit upon which you can gain some votes back that have been lost. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. What we're going to do right now is get into the website because there's some interesting things on this particular website that we got to get through, and we'll talk about some of the specific points. One that I really wanted to talk about, Stephanie Morales. I know who that is. I know her. I don't know her specifically, but I know who that is. She was a Commonwealth attorney, or still is, in Portsmouth, Virginia. I'm from Portsmouth. I grew up there like a big part of my life. I know all about Portsmouth. Okay, Churchland, Midtown, downtown. I know all about Portsmouth, like front, back, side to side. And I know about her. There was a news story about Miss Morales that came out probably about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, where she got into some hot water because of a rap video she did while she was the Commonwealth attorney.
No, the reason ain't no time for dresses, but no little booty chicks who out here teasing. I'm A rap video uploaded to YouTube on Monday showcases the Commonwealth's attorney for the city of Portsmouth along with her family. Stephanie Morales, her husband, son, and young daughters are seen dancing as lyrics like booty crack and booty bouncin' play in the background. The phrase booty poppin' is sung at least 30 times.
I thought I was being pranked, to be honest with you. I just really couldn't believe what was happening.
Barry Randall calls himself the people's pastor. He says he's disappointed in this video, calling it wrong on so many levels.
We had 4 males shot in our city last Thursday. We had 3 males shot in our city last Monday. Her office has yet to do anything because she's booty popping.
So y'all saw a little bit of that right there. Okay, why are you the Commonwealth attorney doing rap videos called booty popping with your husband and your kids? For what? Why? What's the reason? There was no point in doing that at all. So where's the brain power? And you can just guess what political party she affiliates herself with, all right? But I'll move right along. Leah Webb, I don't know who that is. Counselor from Binghamton, New York. Probably another Democrat. Rashad Lambert, founder of Forbes, The Culture. Probably another Democrat if he was to vote. So you say Puff says that it's not a partisan thing. You can be Democrat or Republican, but I don't see anybody that's conservative on your board. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just judging them. But I know some of these faces, okay? The guy from Charlottesville, I know who that is already. And Stephanie Morales, I was watching her on local news. I know all about Stephanie Morales. You know, people that I know her personally. So this ain't nothing, you know, I'm seeing the same old people from the Democratic Party. You can have these same people on Barack Obama's board and they had the same type of agenda and everything else. But we'll keep on moving. Speaking about agenda, okay, let's go ahead and go to it. Let me just read this piece right here. Let me zoom out a little bit so you're able to see it a little bit better. We are committed to creating an agenda and elevating policies and people focused on Black liberation. With this agenda, we will energize voters, current and new, reframe the national political landscape, and reshape culture for the benefit of Black people. Okay. Now, look at some of the things they want to do. Defunding the police. Really? Defunding the police? How is that going to help Black people? All right. Puff in his interview from his, I don't know, estate with a beach for a backyard. You got a whole bay in the beach for a backyard talking about, yeah, I know what it's like to be a roaches. It's like, all right, that was your life 30 years ago. But now, come on, man, you live in a whole different tax bracket, a whole different life. But I'll move on. Defund the police? Why? Maybe Puff does not need the police out there where he lives in the Hamptons or whatever that is. But a lot of us are still kind of in the hood. We need the police to protect us because without them, there's nothing else. But let's expand this to see what it says. It is time for us to envision a new reality for public safety in America. We demand that all levels of government divest from law enforcement and reinvest in comprehensive community development. What does it even mean? I feel like that just means take money from police and give it to some of these so-called nonprofit organizations so they're able to get paid off of that. So they're able to grift, as the cool kids say, off of that money. You know, sacrificing safety for programs that are designed to help with safety. Okay, you're going to create an unsafe environment to have programs that are going to be there for more safety. Makes a lot of sense. Guarantee income for all. This kind of seemed like the Green New Deal, Black Lives Matter, Andrew Yang type stuff. Okay, some commie stuff. Too many people, especially Black people, are excluded from participation in the economy. We know that those who are employed face low wages, unsafe working conditions, and risk of retaliation for advocating for workers' rights. That means unionizing. So you see where we're going. We also know that poverty has continued to exist in this country despite the highs of the economy. The economy alone is not the answer. We demand a guaranteed income for all. So you're railing against the economy and capitalism and stuff like that. The very same thing that made Puff Daddy a lot of money, while at the same time trying to benefit from that by giving everybody a piece of that pie. So basically what you want to do is raise taxes and have that be spread. You know, rob from the rich, give to the poor, that type of stuff. Do criminalize poverty? How is poverty criminalized? I'm not really sure. Let's see. Laws are unfairly applied to Black people, particularly poor Black people. How so? I'm not really sure how that makes a whole lot of sense. We are calling on local governments to stop making crimes of the very quality of life issues they should be working to fix. We demand that governments at every level remove imprisonment and exorbitant fines for quality of life offenses and end cash bail in the U.S. Now, what does that really mean, quality of life? I mean, if you do one on the ground, urinating on the ground, selling drugs, stuff like that, things that increase the lack of safety. So you want to just make that just, be fine to do? Okay. Racism in healthcare, what is this? For communities without adequate access to healthy food and preventative care, please stop it. Like I said many times before, this whole thing about lack of access to healthy food is a bunch of garbage. Okay, you go to Walmart, anywhere near the hood, it's packed with hood people in there. And on the first of the month, when their EBT card gets refreshed, what do they have in the basket? Ding dongs, ho-hos, popsicles, sugar, Kool-Aid, all type of garbage, right? And that's not even a color thing. That's just across the board. When you're given money to just do whatever you want, you don't even care about your health a lot of times. Okay, I've been extremely broke with no money. You talking about, I got $20 and that's all I got for the week to eat on, period, 7 days a week. So how am I going to eat? And I was able to eat very healthy in the same spots the hood folks be at. I seen them with their cart full up on the first of the month with garbage. Meanwhile, I got just my bare essentials and I'm eating like a king, but I'll move on. Okay, you got maternal mortality of black women, disproportionate rates of death due to COVID. The healthcare system in America has failed black people. We demand healthcare for all. Equitable access to comprehensive community-based care and reproductive health services, and ongoing action-oriented research on health disparities. More commie stuff. I don't see anything that's much different than what the far left wants. If anything, this particular platform is just, AOC. That's it. I don't see anything different. Okay, let me see. Racism in healthcare, grow black business. Let's see what they want to do as far as that. Government at all levels spend billions of dollars each year through contracts with small businesses, and black businesses do not have an adequate share of the spending. We demand equity for black businesses in every jurisdiction where they operate. Just want more money. Now, what is the 1,000? I'm not really sure. We have seen that a system run by people who are not committed to the black agenda will pass and support laws that undermine black existence. We will elect at least 1,000 black people to positions of power at every level of government that support the black agenda. Oh, is that right? So we're going to have more Stephanie Morales talking about booty popping. Meanwhile, you got kids getting killed in your city, but you in your house in Crystal Lake, wherever that was in Portsmouth, booty popping. Is that what we want to do? Showing off your spandex and your sundress and all that kind of good stuff. But I digress. Legalize marijuana, so you want to have more drugs. You cry about drugs in the community, but you want to legalize drugs. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you that right quick. Okay, so you cry about drugs in the community, but you want to have more drugs in the community. Makes a lot of sense to me. Intergenerational wealth, high quality and affordable education. Now, if they don't mention school choice right here, then you already know what time it is. Let's see. Whether due to their class, race, or zip code, black students are deprived of high quality educations. We demand investment in strengthening curriculum, instruction, learning environments, and access for black students at every level. Okay, so school choice should be right there. Now, the whole zip code thing is kind of a dog whistle to me. We're talking about school choice, but they did not mention that specifically. And I think that if you were to follow the breadcrumb to the link and it was to explain what's going on, that probably would not mention school choice as well, because again, these people are Democrat operatives, no different than who's already in office right now. It's the same old song. So yeah, Puff, I'm not really impressed, sir. I see some of the same old things from the Democratic Party that I have been seeing for the past 50 or 60 years. And it really, it's kind of a twist on it. It's not the same exactly. It's the same, but a little bit more extreme. Rather than just having a general welfare state we got going on right now, I think that's been there. You just want to heighten the welfare state. You want to put more on the welfare state. That's kind of what's happening from my point of view. And the welfare state is one of the main things that has caused us to be right where we are right now today. So this is not going to be a thing that makes any sense for me. If you want to see Puff's full interview about this, I'll link to it in the box, but you already know what to expect. Anytime someone says we want a black party, something specifically for us, you pretty much know where they're going. They just want a Democrat party with all black people in it. That's all. It ain't really nothing else. They're talking about, are they going to hold Joe Biden accountable? How? He's been there since 1973 and he's done nothing yet. You could have held him accountable back in the 90s and wrote the crime bill. You hold him accountable for that. When you asked him to apologize, I wrote it, so what? I think he apologized recently, or he didn't apologize. He never apologized. If you notice, he was like, oh, we shouldn't have done it, or it may have been the wrong thing. But he won't say, I'm sorry. Bill Clinton said he apologizes, but Joe Biden won't. So if you can't even get the man to apologize for the crime bill, which you're so passionate about, that hurt a lot of black people, then how are you going to get them to do anything for you at all? It doesn't make any sense. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Puff has a good plan here? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is it not a good plan? Same old thing, nothing new. You guys know where I stand. I'm not excited at all. Puff and anybody else talking about, we got to have a black party, a black political party. That mind state right there just puts you right back in the Democratic Party. And who are you going to get to be on the board and run it? The same old Democrat operatives that have been around, okay? It got a new job. That's pretty much all that there is to it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.